2023 has had no shortage of challenges, but through it all, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association has continued to fight for the interests of cattle producers. And joining us now with an update on some of these issues is NCBA President and South Dakota Cattleman, Todd Wilkinson. Todd, we've recently seen animal activists try to use legislation to attack the beef checkoff. What's your response to these efforts?
Well, more than any other year, it appears that the animal rights activists have decided to throw millions of dollars at attacking the checkoff. And you know what that tells me more than anything is that the checkoff, number one, is hugely successful. You don't go after a program and try and defund it if you don't think it's making an impact. So the first takeaway is, we're doing something right if they decide to come at us. The second takeaway is what a terrible reflection on the state of affairs when the animal rights activists are trying to get to the Washington elected officials and tell the beef story, because these folks don't have a clue what we're about. I mean, we've got groups that are being made up like Farm Action. Farm Action has nothing to do with farmers. It doesn't really represent America's farmers and ranchers. What it represents is a bunch of animal activists. Well, these people are right out of the very organizations that want to end all animal agriculture. These people literally have a warehouse of money. And when I say that, I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars stacked up to be able to go after issues that they don't like. And the number one issue that they're going after right now is the Farm Bill, and trying to shape the Farm Bill so that the Farm Bill defunds various programs that help animal agriculture of all sorts. When an organization gets listed as a animal rights extremism group, which the Organization for Competitive Meats has been listed as, that should tell everybody a big story. Animal rights activists we need to put a spotlight on them and show the world what they really are. And let's fight back and tell our story because we got the best story in the world. And we will protect our industry. I'm proud of this industry. I'm proud to be representing this organization. Everybody that's watching this should be proud that they're in the beef industry because we've got a great story to tell.
Now, you've mentioned the Farm Bill. Where do we stand on this important topic, and what are some of NCBA's key priorities for this year's Farm Bill?
Well, the Farm Bill comes up every 5 years, and reauthorization is at this time of the year. Clearly, we're not over the finish line yet in getting the Farm Bill reauthorized. We feel very good about what we have teed up to be part of the Farm Bill. One of the first things is animal disease, foot and mouth vaccines. That was a big win for the beef production side in the 2018 Farm Bill. That was one that we developed a vaccine bank, and then we developed a system about preparedness. What happens if we get an animal disease of some sort? What happens if we get an animal disease that is going to impact America's beef herd? Having that preparedness and having the vaccine is critically important. And that's a big part. That's one of our first big asks. And if there is going to be a traceability program, we want to have that farmer and rancher to be able to have some funding so they don't have to shoulder the burden of all of that cost of putting that tag in that calf's ear. And the next thing, we got to keep the voluntary programs coming forward, like EQIP and those conservation programs that are so successful for America's farmers and ranchers. Those type of things are really an example of what good government can do when it works effectively on a volunteer basis. Risk protection in the cattle sector is big. Livestock risk protection program. A lot of listeners would equate that to maybe crop insurance. So that's our closest analogy to that. That program has really developed for us, and it's affecting the producer, whether they have 25 cows or whether they have 2,000 cows. So that program is available to everybody, and it's trying to put a bottom in so that if the market collapses, if we have a black swan event, we're protected on our pricing. Whether you like it or not, we're going to have the SNAP programs as part of the ag bill, and we need those urban representatives to be able to vote for us and our programs. So keeping those programs together, I think, is critical to our success in the reauthorization and in getting funding for areas that we believe are so critically important.
So we're just a few months away from CattleCon 24. What's your message to members of the beef industry about why they need to make the trip to Orlando?
Boy, I tell you, there is few events that you get to go to and have such a great time at, and plus give such a payback to you as a producer or an operator. And I have a hard time thinking of a whole lot of places that would be better to go in the early part of February than Orlando, Florida. You know, we get to go in there, and it is the biggest event in the beef industry across the country. That if I didn't start with the trade show, I'd be remiss. Nowhere can you walk into an area where you can dream about and gain ideas about what I want to put in my operation and see it all. Literally acres and acres of materials that are available. And, you know, I feel like a kid in a candy store when I get to go into the trade show, because it's just a fun event. But then you get into all of the other deals there. This is our grassroots organization. We're coming to elect our new leadership. We're also coming to adopt interim policy. So this is where all the folks come together, and that process happens. You know, I think I went to my first convention, oh goodness, it's probably been over 10 years ago. And it was fun as a new individual walking into that and seeing it, and then watching an idea that came from a local cattlemen's organization in wherever, starting in your backyard, and then watching that policy develop all the way up into national policy, and then watching our organization, NCBA, with its effective voice, be able to adopt policy that impacts all of America's farmers and ranchers. If that isn't a great deal, I don't know what is. You know, and this one, you asked me, and obviously I have I'm happy about the convention. I'm going to be taking home my kids and my grandkids again. It isn't very often you get to go to an event. On Friday night, we're going to Universal Studios. We have the whole New York section just available for our attendees. Kids 12 and under are going to be able to get in there free. So bring your kids. Make this a family event. Let them ride the rides and enjoy the entertainment. And in the middle of that, you're going to get a Cattlefax update, a DC issues information, question and answer, meet all your friends, and interact with people all across the country. Nowhere can you network like you can network at CattleCon. This is the event, folks, because it's going to be fun-filled and action-packed.
Thank you, Todd. We'll look forward to seeing you in Orlando. To keep up to date on the issues facing our industry and to help make a difference in the work being done, why not join Todd as a member of NCBA? It's easy to do. Just call 866-233-3872, or you can visit the website ncba.org. Now be sure to use the code C2C for a special offer just for our viewers.